Welcome back to another Wednesday, I almost said Sunday, another Wednesday show with Mr.BetonYou. Happy hump day. Hope you guys are doing well. As you see, we're in the basement for this particular episode. It's a special episode. It's a little bit different. We will have a special guest on. I think this will be the third or fourth time, maybe fourth time, that we've had somebody on. And I always like to bring you guys different topics. Sometimes I do. I don't know. Maybe I do. Yeah, I do. We do. And if you guys can hear me, hit the thumbs up in the chat. I want to make sure. I'm streaming from the phone device today. Appreciate everybody that's here already. And we'll have our guest on in maybe 10, 15 minutes, somewhere in that time frame. Good afternoon, Nomadic GigiCom Mom. Hello. We're doing a Fatherhood, Parenthood stream today. We're going to talk. I would love to get your perspective on some things. You being a mother, you being a new mom as well, right? So obviously, I think you guys can hear me. Marty, appreciate you. What's up, bro? I saw your comment. Marty said, oh, I'm going to need to watch this. I've got a lot to learn. Well, I think fathers, mothers, I think we should be learning from one another, especially fathers, right? I have a friends group. We're all dads. And we talk about we talk about the struggles, the things that are working, the things we're working on as fathers. And most of us that come to this particular show, obviously we come from the gig world. And we talk about freedom, flexibility. A lot of us, including people like Ceci and I'm sure Marty, we're working to take care of our families, working for our kids. What we do is for them, right? But it's not always easy. So I'm going to have a special guest. UDM will be with us shortly. And he's a father of three. You know, he's got two boys and he has an older daughter. And he's a content creator. He's a gig driver like you and I, like myself. And juggling all these balls in the air at once can be difficult, to say the least, right? So me and him are going to be chopping it up, talking about what does that mean? What have we learned? What are we working towards? What are we, what's working for us as fathers and gig drivers? And then what's working for you guys as well. But before we get into that, let's see what we got in the building today. I'm going to say hi to you guys. Hope you guys are doing well. It's been a weird day today for me. It's been a weird day. I'll get into that in a minute as a little bit of an intro. Obviously, Marty's here, Nomadic, Midwest Panther. Roger says impactful. Okay. I feel like you should have put a question mark at the end of that. Mac, Ali, Zombie, Mad Dash, Internet God, Free Palestine's here. Eric, Kimberly, Lambert, Gig Gal, what up, what up, what up? Cowboy Courier, what's up, what's up, what's up? Let me read some of you guys' comments. So I'm talking to all the fathers, but I'm talking to the moms. It's parenthood, okay? How do you make it work? I know Gig Gal's in here, and I'm happy that she is, because I know she works with her boys. Her son, she has two little ones, one or two little ones, right? And she makes videos and she's making content and she's out there hustling with her kids or kids. That can't be easy all the time, but that's got to be awesome. Most jobs you can't do that unless you're working from home. But most W-2s not going to bring your kids with you and make money. So how do you do it? I couldn't imagine having to do that. That would probably frustrate me, if I'm being honest. So shout out and kudos and respect to you for doing that, right? All right. Hey, Pedro. Yes, parenting and gig work is hard, especially with the cold weather. I bet. You got the jacket. The little one's got to get buckled in, buckled out. It's cold outside. You're taking groceries. There's no way that can be easy, but you're doing it. Respect, respect, respect. Roger C says, juggling your life is no different for gig workers than it would be for W-2. Are you sure about that? I don't know. I'm not saying it's harder or easier being a gig worker, but that's what most of us do. But I definitely think it's different. I would have to disagree with you on that. And just the same way it would be different if you have a W-2 that is this kind of W-2 versus that kind of W-2. I think it's all about your time and how we are balancing it and how we feel at the end of the day. Did we balance it right enough to have it to where our kids know that we are being impactful in their lives, but we're also giving them the things that they need and we're providing income for the house? But I do think there's a big difference, actually. I do. And in a lot of different types of work, there's going to be a big difference. If you're a professional athlete, if you're a celebrity and you're gone on the road all the time, that's going to be very different how you have to possibly balance and be a father or a mom than if you are a stay-at-home mom working from home, or if you're somebody that works a traditional 9-to-5 at a bank, or if you're a gig worker, or if you're somebody that manages restaurants and you're working 60 hours a week and you're always working weekends, you're working at night. the way you have to balance is definitely going to be figured into what type of work you do and what type of hours you put in. And the kind of work and hours you put in, obviously you're going to take some of that energy home with you. So how do you balance that? I hope that makes sense, Roger. I appreciate that insight. Bring some more. Bring some more. I like the questions. Jade, how are you? 3. So Gig Gal has 3. Okay, awesome. Do you avoid Forsyth Boulevard because of the parking? I haven't done delivery down there on Forsyth and Clayton in forever. Edith Santiago, how are you? Hope the husband's doing good. Gig Gal says, I found a friend that babysits for me on really cold days for about $8 an hour, so that helps out. Wow, $8 an hour? That's a good friend. That's a pretty decent deal. Obviously, he's cutting into some of your money, but hey, that's a really good. That's an awesome deal. But it's been way easier when it's warm. Oh, absolutely. Cowboy Courier says, I'm home every night to spend time with my sons until I put them to bed, then go back out for the late night shift. The flexibility to work that way is critical to me. I love that comment. Let me see. I'm going to put that up. I'm going to put some of you guys' comments up before our special guest comes on. Appreciate everybody that's in the building. Hit that thumbs up. I'm at home every night to spend time with my sons until I put them to bed. I like that. I'll share with, UDM and I will share some things that we do and some failures. I mean, I'm going to share some failures first with you guys. Okay. Nomadic Geek Mom says, I spend more time with my children than I did when I had a W-2. Love that for you. And I think a lot of people have a similar experience, right? Because you can make your own schedule. Mostly, right? We got to be out there when it's busy, but you can. And you can go home when you need to. And you could, you know what I'm saying? Something happens, the kids need you, you just want to end your day, you could do that. It's hard to do that in the W-2. Laura, hello. School time helps, and Boys and Girls Club, I can do mornings without worry. I love that. Awesome. Love Smith, what up? How are you? God's Power, what's up, man? How are you, brother? Laura's Lang says, I'm past raising my kid, so I don't have to worry about it. LOL. He's living with his dad. He's grown. Don't want to spend time with mom anymore. Oh, let me put your comment up, but that's so relatable. I appreciate you sharing that, because I think our kids, whether you have, you could be a mom that has daughters, and sometimes the daughters want to spend more time with their fathers as they become older. Or if you are a mom of sons, they might want to spend time with their dad more. If you're a father of yeah, like, you know what I'm saying. It's definitely situational, but I think that kids, as they age, tend to gravitate towards wanting different things from their parent, like little kids want their moms, and then when they become older, sometimes they want their dads for certain things. So super relatable comment. God's Power says, when I started DoorDash, I took my kids with me and gave them half for the first 6 months. That's cool. Okay. Of course they are teens and it helped. Okay. Charlene, how you doing? Hi, Pedro. I just got in, but I'm loving the topic for motivation today. Yeah. I think that it's something that, we talk about freedom and flexibility. We obviously talk about money. For those of us that have channels, that don't have channels, those are the main things for us. We obviously need to make money, and we like the freedom and flexibility, but are we achieving a good balance as fathers, as mothers? Now, let me share with you a little bit of a backstory. Brace with me. Hold steady with me. A lot of you guys know I worked in restaurants, okay? That kind of work taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about the society, people, how to deal with certain people, different age groups, different demographics, different belief systems. I mean, everybody, it's a melting pot when you work in restaurants. There's many restaurants that I've worked in. I worked at Applebee's. I did some consulting, and then I worked at a casino, right? So UDMIC, I'll bring you up in 1 minute, sir. So working in the restaurants, I mean, it takes a toll. And I always thought I had a decent balance, but I did not. I didn't know what I didn't know until I started doing gig work. Until I started being, you know what, man, okay, I can figure out my market. I can figure things out. I like this balance. I like that I can not work weekends if I choose to and hustle during the week. I like that if my kid needs something, or there's an appointment or a recital or whatever, I can always say yes. I've mentioned that before. I can always say yes. So if I say no, that's on me, right? So I'll give you a real quick example, and then we're going to bring our special guest up in just one moment. So I think it was last week, Madison wanted to take Ruby to see Santa Claus. And listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not a big Santa fan. I don't like that we tell our kids they're Santa. That's a whole nother video. It is what it is. But you do things for kids, and it's fun. And Madison she's the mom that loves taking pictures, videos. She probably has 10,000 videos and pictures of Ruby and things that we do. That's her. She likes that. That's how she remembers the memories, right? So I knew, man, okay, Madison's going to want to take pictures. And, she goes, well, if you're going to work, if you don't, I could just take her myself, because that's just how Madison is. She's very chill, right? And I remember I was working that day. And to be honest with y'all, I hadn't decided, am I going to go meet him there? And I told myself, hold up. So I've been a father for 22 years. I have a daughter that's 22 years old, if you can believe it or not. And I missed certain things when my firstborn was younger. I didn't miss everything, but I missed things because I either didn't make the time or I couldn't make the time because of my job. And I'm driving around. I think this was this past Thursday. And I'm like, hold up, what am I doing here? I could make an extra few bucks. No, I need to be there for my kids. So when she sees Santa, I want to be a part of that experience. And I'm glad I did, because I'm in the pictures. And I also told myself, what if she's a little scared? She's 2.5. Maybe Santa could be a little intimidating. I want her to know her father's there. Her mom's there. But her dad's there if she needs to cry, if she needs me to pick her up, if she's a little shy. I didn't want to miss that moment. And gig work affords me that flexibility. So I've missed so many things, and I'm telling myself now, I don't want to miss things. I want to say yes to more things that are impactful and important. So we talk about gig work and how frustrating it could be, but to me, that is the biggest benefit. Let's bring our guest up. All right, 1 second here. UDM, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. What's up, man? Can you hear me?
Awesome. Yes, I can. So real quick, tell us what you're doing right now, because I think that's a really good segue into this topic. What's UDM got going on today, right now?
Well, as of right now, I'm on a soccer field and a track. My son on the track, he's practicing for flag football. My youngest son, and my older son is on the soccer field practicing kicking goals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love
So
that.
I have a soccer player. My daughter's in soccer. She's already went to college. My older son has been inspired by my daughter playing soccer, and he's fell in love with the sport ever since watching her play. So now he's in soccer training, but my youngest son wants to play football.
That's awesome, man. So give us a rundown real quick. First off, thanks for being here, man. I wanted to do this topic, and I thought you're a really good person to have this talk, because obviously you got 3 kids, and they're kind of like, you got your old son, that soccer superstar, and then you got your boy. So how old are your kids? Give us a breakdown if you don't mind.
All right. Well, my daughter just turned 19. My older son is 8, and my youngest son is 6.
Oh wow, those are fun ages, but I'm sure they keep you busy, right?
Yeah, they do. They sure do, especially with the boys being close in age. My wife and I, we wanted to keep them close in age, so they could kind of be more relatable, for the things that they do. And a lot of the stuff that you hear them playing about, or having fun about, like the things that they're having fun with, is like, we look at each other like, how is that fun? It's none of our business. we just keep it moving, but they're having a good time. That's all that matters.
Yeah. So how do you balance it, man? You've got, obviously, we're a lot of us are gig workers here. You've been doing it for a while. I've been doing it for 3.5 years. Before, when you had your daughter, right, and she's in the household, right, she's in high school, whatever, middle school, whatever, and you got your boys, like having 3 kids, being a content creator, being a gig driver, having to make the money. How'd you do all that, man?
To be honest with you, understanding behaviors was a major part for me, because I understand that each kid, you gotta learn your kids. You can't just be parent, right? You gotta understand each personality. You gotta understand what works for them, what doesn't work for them. Doesn't matter what age they are. Some of them are more needy than others, and the other ones are more independent. My daughter, at some point, she was more needy. My youngest son, he's more independent, but my middle son, or my middle child, he's more needy, you know?
Yeah.
But the thing is like, just understanding each one, I can make decisions on a daily basis based on the needs or whether I need to meet their needs on a daily basis. So even my wife, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes she may want my attention, right? And I need to make time for her. So the way I work with gig work, I've always tried to maximize my earnings for the time that I'm out on the road while they are gone to school, or while my wife is at work, or maybe they're occupied doing something else with practice. Like, look, I'm on this live stream with you while they're in practice.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
so so the whole thing is just more of just utilizing the time that I have available when I have it available, and maximizing my earnings when I'm out on the road, man.
Yeah. I feel like that's why, I'm sure that's one of the big reasons you're big into the catering and making sure you're maximizing your dollar amounts so that you can make as much as you can, because you obviously have a tight schedule, right? You got to you got to pick the kids up from school. You got to do this. They got soccer practice. They got to do this. They got to eat. The wife needs something. Like,
Yeah.
it's, as a father, man, it's not always easy because, we have to be hands on too. Don't you think?
Yeah, most
Yeah.
definitely. Especially
Yeah.
with sons. My daughter, she when she started getting to be more of a young woman, she
Hmm.
started clinging more towards my wife. But I'll say in the earliest stages, when she was more needy for,
Hmm.
it was more like wanting dad's attention, right? But now it's more like my hair, my dress, my mommy.
She can't talk to you about that.
No, but also I have very serious conversations with her regarding like boys and
Yeah.
dating, like
Yeah.
that. I saw a video on Instagram. Do you hear the wind? I don't want the wind to.
Just a little bit, but we can
All
still hear you. You're good.
right. I saw a video on Instagram that said there's different stages of raising a kid, right? And there's a stage where you're supposed to be, I don't want to use the wrong words, but there's a stage where you're supposed to be their friend. There's a stage where you're supposed to be you're supposed to discipline them,
Yeah.
teach them certain things.
Yeah.
Um, and you don't want to mess around, and when you're supposed to be their friend, you don't want to teach them the wrong thing at the wrong time, or you don't want to be at the wrong stage trying to do the wrong thing. you know
Yeah.
so if I'm
Yeah.
supposed to be their friend right now, I don't want to be trying to discipline them, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my hold on one second. Just get anyone, both of them on open. He needs some water. You can take your bottle with you. So I understand each one of them, and I do my best as a father with the time that I have with them to provide whatever they're needing at that moment.
Yeah.
If my daughter needs, hold the bottle. Like right now, he needs water, so I gotta
Yep. Yep. Yep.
open the water
Listen,
for
you
him.
can't plan this stuff. When I asked UDM, I was like, "Hey, you want to be on Wednesday?" He was like, "What time?" I was like, "I think 4 o'clock your time." He goes, "Well, my boys, they got practice." I'm like, "That's perfect, man." It fits in with the topic.
All right. But just understanding each one, meeting their needs at the time that they need it, whatever time that is. It could be as random as possible. Sometimes my daughter calls me at the most random times. I'm picking up a catering order, I'm dropping off a catering order, trying to set it up or something, and she
Yeah.
might need me right then. This depends on whether she can wait or not. If she
Yeah.
can't wait, then I have to give her my listening ear.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and it's a lot, but you get used to it.
Yeah. Do you feel it's sometimes easier or harder being a dad and being a gig worker?
Oh, that's a good question, man. Um, I love being a gig worker because it gives me the flexibility I need to be there for them.
Mm.
So being a dad and being a gig worker go hand in hand, because I couldn't imagine how needy like my middle child is, and how sporadic my daughter might need me.
Yeah.
did some work on her vehicle, her tire. I had to change the lug nuts and the studs. It's like she couldn't go to class because her vehicle was down, and that was a time she needed daddy, you know?
Yep.
So if I wasn't in gig work, I wouldn't be able to do that as soon as I did to get her on the road and doing what she needs to do. So I feel like it goes hand in hand, man. You know, being a father, seeing them play, kicking the ball like I just did. I get a chance to see them enjoy themselves doing what they love to do, and at times it get a little tough. But I'll never say it's too tough to be a dad, or trying to balance all of it is just too difficult, man. I enjoy every last moment of it, to be honest with you. I hope I answered your question.
No, you're good. I think I sometimes, when I think about it, like for me, there are times I don't know if you ever feel this, but I have to pull myself away from the gig app sometimes, because, when you have like traditional work, you usually have somebody that's scheduling you, or even if you're scheduling yourself or your team, there's kind of a schedule. With the kind of work we do, we might put ourselves in a schedule like, hey, UDM's going to work, 9 a.m. to 12, and then do this, and then I'm going to go back out and work 4 to 7. So there's still a schedule, but it's still more fluid. But I struggle sometimes pulling myself away from the money, right? Like I'm having a good day and I'm like, ooh, it's busy, or there's peak pay, or there's this promotion, or there's this catering opportunity, whatever it is, right? Or there's a rideshare promotion. And it's like, okay, yeah, I want to come home at 6 for dinner, but man, I got to make this money. And a lot of us, we need it too at times, right? Like it's not an option. You got to make it happen. Like I sometimes struggle with coming away from the money. Do you ever feel like that? Do you ever feel like there's moments where you have to like make a choice and you don't know if you made the right one?
I used to go through that, and I got over it because when it was difficult for me to make the money I wanted to make, then I will say that I was struggling. I felt like I didn't hit my goal, and I need to hit my goal to take care of my kids, right? So it's like, but once I fine-tuned my way of work, it became easier for me to balance everything. I know, like I know I can make more than 200 a day, right? And that's not bragging. That's me knowing my market. I know some drivers that share the same market as I do that can't be as confident as I am saying that, oh, I can make this money. But I have so many apps, I have so many opportunities, I've made so many friends in so many different places. I know how to make my money to do what I got to do. But even
Oh, hold up. I think we might have lost you. I see you, but I don't hear you. Hold on. I think UDM's got hold on, maybe it's me. Can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Okay, I think it might be UDM for a second. Hold on, guys. Can you guys hear me? Let me know in the chat. Hit me with a thumbs up. Oh, he'll probably come back in. So UDM's dropping some nuggets, man. I like it. I see some dads in here. Shout out to Tony, Boots. Shout out to all the moms in here as well. I know the thumbnail says Fatherhood, but obviously in the description I put Parenthood because listen, we're it's moms and dads, but I'm a father. He's a father, so I felt like it was appropriate. So hopefully we'll get UDM back in here in a second. I see Nomadic. There's 170. Yeah, hit them thumbs up. What up, Vicky? What up, Space Invader? All right, let's bring UDM back in.
Yeah, I got a call. I had to put my phone on Do Not Disturb, and I just couldn't hear you anymore.
You're good. But yeah, so you talked about making that 200, and you're not bragging, but that's what your market allows. I think my market's probably kind of similar to yours in the type of money we can make, but like you're saying you struggled kind of in the beginning because maybe the opportunities weren't there. So go ahead and continue that.
All right. So when it was very difficult for me to make $200, which is my minimum I like to make to take care of everything and have the time that I need to have for my kids and everybody.
Yeah.
When it was a struggle to make that kind of money, then it was difficult for me to pull away from gig work because I was out there long days, 13-hour, 14-hour days, trying to make that money because I needed to do what I needed to do. But once I understood I could make more, and I figured out how to make more. I then I had a few moments where I was like, man, I just made $400. I want to make more than that, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah,
But then I understood also that, okay, what's the minimum you need to make? Go for that, and use the rest of the time instead of keep working. Use the rest of the time and go dedicate that to family, watching football together, whatever,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um, so it balanced out eventually. At first, it was difficult, but then I had to go through a humbling moment, understanding that my kids need me at home. When they started telling me things like, "Daddy, I miss you.
mm,
Daddy, we miss you," and then trying
yeah,
to prevent me from going to work when I actually needed to go to work, I was like, okay, they need me home. So
yeah, yeah,
I realized I had to fine tune my way of work so I could
yeah.
balance family and work.
Yeah, because it's funny. Kids don't. I don't know if your kids are like this, but my daughters and my my family and friends, like, they don't care about what I'm doing or if I'm making a video or that your kids don't care like, oh, your UDM delivers on YouTube. They don't care about that. They require different things. You know what I'm saying? They want time. They want you to kick the ball around. They want to throw the baseball. They want to play video games, like whatever it is, right? Like each kid could be different, but they don't care about what we have going on, right? Like
Right.
they have their own needs, and kids can be selfish in that way, and that's okay because they're kids. They're still learning, right? So I've had a lot of those moments with my first daughter. I would miss certain things or maybe be late, and I was humbled many times, man. So when you use that word, like I feel that, and I had a day a couple weeks back. I came home. Sometimes my Ruby will kind of run to me, and sometimes she won't. But if sometimes in the mornings I'll leave and she won't want me to go, and she'll like come at the door and she don't really cry, but I can tell she doesn't want me to leave. And it's tough because like, yeah, I could probably take the day off and hang out with her, but we still, as fathers, we got to make the ends meet. We got to make the money, right? We have to provide. So
Yeah.
that balance, man, can be really tough sometimes.
Yeah, most definitely. I remember there was a year that I was just so busy. I'll never forget this, man. I was just so busy, just working like crazy, and then all of a sudden, the whole family took a trip on me, and I was home alone. And even if I was home, I didn't have anybody to go home to because they were out of town. And
Mm,
never forget that feeling was a little bit empty for me, man. And I don't know if you've ever
mm,
gone through this, but I was like, man,
mm,
I can't do this.
mm.
I
Yeah,
almost hopped on the road and I almost met them where they were because at the time they were in Atlanta. And I'm like, man, that's like a 9.5 hour drive.
you thought about going, didn't you? You thought
I
about
thought
going,
about
didn't
going. It's one thing, it's one thing where, oh, they're home. I'll be home in a minute. And
you?
it's another thing when you have nobody to go home to.
Yeah,
I was like, wait, what? I don't like this feeling. It's no, daddy's home. Come get daddy a hug. And,
yeah,
that helped me understand their needs too. Because I didn't even understand it until I felt empty, you know?
yeah, yeah. No,
So
I
that hit
I
me.
feel that, man. Madison took Ruby somewhere last year. They went somewhere and they were gone for like 3 days, and that's the most
Mhm.
that I had been without them. And yeah, that first day, listen, bro, that first day was like kind of nice. I'm like, oh, I got the house to myself. I can kick the feet up. I can
Yeah.
put the game on, do whatever I want, make a pizza. And I got to that second day, I'm like, all right, this I'm alone. You know what I'm saying? Like I could have been with them, right?
Yeah.
And those are some of those humbling moments too that I think sometimes as fathers or as parents we could take it for granted sometimes that they're always around, and then when they're not around, you're gonna miss them. Um, that's for sure, man. So tell me a little bit about your boys, man. You got them in sports. Is it because they like sports? I think you said your oldest daughter plays soccer, so it got the one son to do it. But was it by their choice? They wanted to try it, or is that something that you and the wife say, "Hey guys, we want you to do sports"? How do you guys view the sports stuff in the house?
Well, my nephew-in-law, he plays for Michigan Wolverines. Okay. He
Oh,
was he was a household name in the Optimist. Uh, Not even in high school. He was a name in Miami that was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my
is he
gosh.
playing right? Is he playing right now? He's on the team.
He's second string.
Okay.
Michigan
Yeah.
Wolverine. He gets in the game. He gets in the game a few times. He
Yeah.
had a few injuries, um, but yeah, like right now they have the Rose Bowl coming up, and
Yeah.
his best friend, I believe, is one of the top defenders of
Hmm.
Alabama.
Okay.
So I think he plays
They're about to
linebacker.
play each other. They're gonna play each other. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're
That's
talking
great.
trash to each other right now.
Yeah.
So the thing is, um, I think on my wife's side, they even had someone from their family. Uh, my boys, they don't like dogs, and the dog is
Uh, is he? It's a loose dog.
well, he got loose from his owner. They got him. All right. So but I think they also had like some actual NFL players from their family,
Yeah. Yeah.
that actually made it to an NFL team. I don't ask me what team that was. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that then transitioned over to my nephew-in-law. Then my sons seeing my nephew, right? And it's like they grew a love for it and watching him play. Oh, he's in the game. He's in the
Oh
game.
yeah, that's a big deal. He's on TV. I mean, he's on
Yeah,
TV.
exactly. And seeing my daughter play, like she got to go to practice and they try to get the ball from her after practice when they win, when they lose.
Yeah.
They just grew a natural love for it. And I'm just I'm just doing my part where I am nurturing their love for it. I'm not saying, "Oh, you got to play football." No, you got
Yeah.
to play football. They're like, no,
Yeah.
no, no. Like one plays soccer because he wants to play soccer. The other one is practicing for flag football because he wants to play football and be like his cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah.
so it's like
Yeah.
that's what's going on right now. So at first he wanted to play baseball. I put him in a baseball camp this past summer, and he liked it, but he also started growing a love for tennis, then a love for golf,
Well, they're
then
gonna
a
like
love.
all kinds of things. You gotta let them try and see what they
Right.
like with sticks, and
So when he brought up the love for football, his cousin had a conversation with him, the one that's at Michigan. And he was like, "Yeah, football, daddy, football." So I'm like, okay. So I'm just trying to nurture their love for whatever sport that they're interested in at the
Yeah.
moment, and whichever
Yeah.
one that sticks, that's the one we go with.
Yeah. No, that's. I think sports can be really good for kids, man. I've always thought that. They might not always have a fun time doing it because it could be
Mm-hmm.
hard, especially if you start taking it serious as they get older. It's not easy, right? But
Yeah.
I think you learn a lot about yourself and adversity and like the good stuff, winning or losing. Like, it's invaluable. But if your nephew-in-law is at Michigan, he's a stud. That's a huge program. I mean,
D1.
yeah. I mean, they're the number one team in the country. They're probably going to win the whole damn thing. I mean,
Ah,
whoever beats. This is my thought, UDM. Whoever wins between Alabama and Michigan, that's going to be the champion. That's how I look at it.
yeah.
So big. That's a big game.
I mean, and just to see that that side of the family, it's not just on her side of the family. When I say her, my wife. On my side, it's more soccer players and cricketers, right?
Okay.
I'm from
Okay.
the islands.
Yeah.
I have my cousin that played for Leeds United, right? His name is Dominic, right?
It's you talking about soccer, right?
Soccer,
Yeah.
right? Um, and we have on my side is more of the creativity, like the musicians,
Yeah.
the some sports, but the sport is soccer or cricket. On my
Yeah.
wife's side, it's more football, or it was actually a surprise with soccer, but football or track. You know,
Mm.
so we have speed, we have creativity, we have all
Yeah.
kind of stuff in one pot, man. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
What about your side?
So man, my daughter played softball 4 years. She wasn't great, but she was good. She loved it. Good. Just the camaraderie and all that. I played basketball growing up. Played baseball and basketball. Ran a little bit of track, but and then my my ex stepdaughter was a really good basketball player. So I coached her for several years, and was really good, man, and she still is. She's getting ready to go into college next year, I believe. So
Mm,
she's stud basketball player. And
mm.
my stepson was in football. He'll go somewhere, probably like a smaller D1 or maybe D3 school. He's a defensive back. They're both in Florida, Palm Harbor, if you know where that area is, or I think outside of Orlando, or it's close to Orlando. So, um, but yeah, sports are always been a big thing in my life, man. I think it's, plus it's fun just playing it and getting out there and playing with your kids and doing all that. And
Yeah.
I think the gig stuff, man. I think we talk about in the beginning of the show. We talk about like freedom and flexibility, and some of us think we have it, and some think we don't have it. I've always thought I've had a tremendous amount of flexibility and freedom doing gig work. At least that's me. It's not always easy. I had to build it up, probably in a similar way you did. You have to learn your market. You got to learn what apps maximize your time. But for me, man, it's been a game changer. Like even being able to do something like this on Wednesday and being able to come home, right? You can't do that with all types of work. So I like to remind the audience that like we give the gig apps we give them a hard time, and that's
Mm,
okay. The pay can be shit. They're doing crazy things. It's frustrating. We're
yeah.
driving a car. We got car problems. Like it happens. But at the end of the day, man, for me, this has been more of a positive than a negative. I don't know how you feel about the gig apps, but how's it been for you? Has it been more positive or negative overall?
It's been more positive, obviously there are those moments where it's just that slow and then you have
Yeah,
to learn something new. um and you might get frustrated because it was a bad day. Like I remember Saturdays used to be a really great day to work, but then Saturdays became a day that was just terrible for some reason. But that happened after the decline after COVID spike, right?
yeah, yeah,
um but I'll tell you that now that Saturdays are just bad, I just say that's my boys' day. So
yeah,
my wife and my daughter go and do their thing, and I said, "Nah, y'all can't know where we went. No, that's our day. We go do what we gotta do,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
and then I tell the boys like, don't tell mommy where we went. No, you can't tell the girls what we went to go do.
yeah.
And
I
they
like that.
take it serious. They take it serious, but just spending that time with them and just dedicating time to just getting to know them once a week, whether
Mm,
we stay home
yep,
or we go out, and we might go out to eat somewhere that they want to go to eat. They want to try something new. They want to go to a specific restaurant. We might search up on Google, like, hey, y'all want to try this? All
yeah,
right, let's go. You know,
yeah.
um,
That's
and
cool.
it's, it's it's something that I wish my parents did with me. You know, um, and I'm just trying to do it with my kids, not trying to miss out on time that they might need me around.
Yeah.
And especially after being hospitalized with COVID, that really,
Mhm.
yeah, that really did a number on me. So
Oh yeah,
I'm working extra hard to spend as much time with them, my wife, everybody around me, every close person I got.
yeah. I like that. I remember that stream you did after you came out of the hospital. That was, I mean, I remember that and thinking like, man, because you never know, things could just happen,
Yeah,
and we take that time for granted sometimes. And at
yeah.
least I know I have before. But um, man, listen, I don't want to take too much of your time. I know you got the boys. Have fun. I appreciate you coming on this special show, man. I just wanted to chop it up with you a little bit, and I think that this gig work, I know it's done a lot for me. I can tell it's done a lot for you, and I know a lot of people in the chat it's done a lot for them. I think we just got to we're mindful of that. But like our kids, man, they just need us, and we're not always going to be able to be there. But I think when we can, it's good that the gig work allows us that flexibility. And UDM, I appreciate you coming on the show, man. Have a good rest of the day with the boys. Tell them I said what's up.
All right, we'll do, man. But before I click off, I'll say thank you for even having this conversation. We always talk about like the how bad offers are, but like you said, it gave us this opportunity for us to be able to do these things with our kids when we're able to do them.
Yep.
And it provides us enough money for us to still be able to take care of home, no matter what anyone out there might think. Oh, you got all these expenses. Well, this is why you got to be smart with how you make your choices, right?
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
and I'll just say whoever out there, whether you have kids or you don't have kids, always make the best of your time, because time, you'll never get that back once it's gone.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I know some drivers don't mind working 15, 16, 21 hours a day, but you got to be able to enjoy life as well. There's a lot that's around you that you might be missing out on if you don't take time to just enjoy the view. Like right now, the sun is setting. Yeah, I don't want to use the sun metaphor, but sometimes you got to take a step back and just enjoy what's around you and just soak it all in, man, because it's good for your mental health as well. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a great way to end this segment, man. I think you said it better than I could, man. I appreciate you, brother. Have a good night, and we'll talk soon, man.
all right, bro. Have a good night.
All right.
And deuces, everybody. All right.
All right. That is UDM Delivers. Go check them out. If you're here, you probably know who that is, I'm sure. I just want to have a different conversation. These Wednesdays, I always intended, I wanted to bring on what I called, and when I was starting this, and I brought on a few people. We've had Tanner Markley on, a business owner. He did a live with us. We had the life coach and motivational coach of the U.S. men's national soccer team was on, and we had UDM, a father that works in our community, a father of 3, a husband. So, I like bringing in people that I think can offer a valuable conversation and just some insights for you guys and give you something to think about, right? I'm bringing in people that come from a place of knowledge and respect, right? So when I asked UDM to come on, he was like, "Yeah, I got my boys. I take them to soccer practice and stuff." And I was like, "Well, that's perfect." So he's a dad out there, gig worker. I'm sure he probably worked today. Picked up his boys. He's got them at the park. One's doing football practice, kicking, I think he said, or practicing flag football, and the other one's doing soccer. And then he's on a live stream, right? So I just think it's awesome that the gig work allows us that type of flexibility. It allows me to do things like this. And then I'll go back out. I'll probably go back out for another 3 hours after this to make the rest of the money up that I haven't yet made today, right? So I think we have to remember, why do we come into the gig community as gig workers? And then also, all right, well, I got a family or whatever responsibilities I have. How do I make that all work together? And like somebody said in the chat earlier, well, Pedro, there's not a difference between balance of a W-2 and a gig work. That could be true, but I kind of disagree, because it's about what you make it. So there is a difference. It doesn't mean that it's bad or good or better or worse, but there's a difference. And coming from the W-2 work that I did, and my last job was at the casino, I have way more flexibility now. And I still work. I do the YouTube stuff and some other things, right? But I have a tremendous amount of flexibility. So I just want to have this conversation, and I hope you guys got something out of it. If you guys got some questions or got anything else, I'll stay in the chat with you guys for a little bit still. I got a few more minutes here. Space Invaders says sports is a good drive, work ethics builder. Absolutely. I recommend kids playing sports or getting into music or getting into some kind of club. Okay, it doesn't have to be sports. I think that's a good one, a great one. But any kind of club at school or something where they have to work with other people or work with a coach to achieve a desired goal, I think is extremely important, because school can teach you some things. It can teach you time management. It can teach you some skills, right? But sports is different, and clubs are different, because that should be something that you enjoy doing. Not all kids enjoy school, so you got to have something as a kid to look forward to, right? Edith says, almost all of my grandkids play sports, summer baseball, now basketball, football, and they're very good to go to their games, and I enjoy. Only I don't like is football because I don't understand they game. Love it. What up, Antho805? How you doing? De Niro, Da Vinci, what's up? How you doing? Vicky Spencer, Nomadic, hi again. Eric, the Driven Dad. All of you guys that are in here, appreciate all y'all. Dash Your Life Hawaii, what's up, man? In this space, you create your own flexibility no matter how many hours you work. I like that. Coming from the guy that's out there getting it in Hawaii. Cowboy Courier says, one thing worth comment on. Reply, gig working as a parent is that lack of family health insurance options through the companies. Ooh, yes, that is true. Now, companies right now, there is a government healthcare stuff that's an option out there for gig workers that DoorDash and a lot of other companies let you know about. And then there's also other things that some of these apps do provide you information and links to go get stuff, but it's not like a W-2. It's just different. The benefits usually aren't going to be as great, and it's going to be super expensive. So really good insight there, because I think that's true. The one thing about this work, that the downside for me is the protections and the things that we don't have that are long-term, whether it's some kind of 401k, if you believe in that or not, or how, investments or PTO or profit sharing or benefits, whether they're health, medical, dental, things like that. You just vision, you don't get those things in the same regard, in the same way. There's still, obviously they can be there for you, but you have to seek them out more willingly on yourself, right? What up, Bodacious? How you doing? How hard was it to find energy and balance in the first few years of starting a family? Oh man, well, when my daughter was born, I was a kid. I didn't know what I was doing. Right now, the second go around, it's been pretty good. But Madison's stay-at-home mom, so we just had to have certain conversations. We have to balance things out. I have to know when am I required to be doing certain things and the time that I should be doing this. And I check in with her. Do you need this? Do you need that? What's your plans this week? What's your morning look like? So it's just you have to be very communicative. Whether that's you're putting things on a shared calendar or a calendar on a refrigerator, or you're checking in every day. We check in with each other. The night before, what do you have going on the next day? And this is what I have going on. She check in with me, I'll check in with her. But that balance can be really hard. And then the kids, as they become older, they start having things, schools and plays and play dates and swimming and basketball or soccer. And then you have to fold those in. And that's where the juggling become more difficult. I think when you're juggling 1 or 2, 3 balls, it's okay. You add that 4th or 5th ball, you're going to drop the ball sometimes, and that's fine. You just got to learn, why did I drop that ball? What happened? How do I maybe not make that happen again? I don't want my kid to feel like that. I don't want to feel like that. I want to have better balance. But I think the one thing that most of us probably struggle with, or a lot of us struggle with right now, is finding the balance in a time where times are hard. And I need to work, Pedro. I wanted to make 200 a day, but now I need to make 250 a day or 225. So now you're adding an extra hour, 2 or 3 to your day to get the higher goal, because you need the higher goal because of inflation or a new bill or something came up or whatever. Or you used to make 200, now you're only making 150. So you got to work an extra 2 or 3 hours just to get back to making the money you were making. And even with that money, the expenses are still up. So, that's the one downside, is we're still dependent upon that market being good. And, the market not being oversaturated or whatever, or even being able to get on to the Dash Now feature or have an opportunity at all. So, we have to take the good with the bad, but I think a lot of us are in a point right now where I'm trying to make ends meet. Pedro's talking about balance, and oh my God, he's doing good, but what about me? I get it. But this is a place we can come and we can at least share. And you can ask questions, and I can ask y'all questions, you can ask me questions. It's a place where we can come, and it's a positive hour to where we can reflect on the things that are happening that are good or bad or indifferent, talk about goals, talk about what's happening within the gig work life and realm, but obviously outside of it. And we can help motivate each other, hopefully, in this 45 minutes to an hour every Wednesday. So communication is extremely key. It is, and I was not a good communicator in some of my previous relationships. It just wasn't, because there were times I felt like maybe I didn't need to communicate, or I felt like I did, but it wasn't effective. And just because you tell somebody, what I've learned, just because you're communicating and you're having a conversation with somebody, are you communicating it in the way that they need to receive it? Are you giving them all the information? Are you giving them some of the information? After you left that conversation, do you feel strong that they understand like what you got going on? When you're listening to somebody communicating to you, are you listening or are you waiting to talk? Communication is everything. It just is. I've been doing gig work for about 2 months now. Your channel has helped a ton. I'm glad it's out, man. Chucky Tucky, what up? I'm glad you voted for me. Thank you. I'm late to the shindig. LOL. What's up, homie? We'll be talking about fatherhood, man. Go watch the replay, bro. UDM was on about 10 minutes into the show. We had a really good conversation. And I know you're a father as well, so I think you can relate to some things and probably could offer us a whole lot of relatability as well. But We're going to be coming to the end of the show here very soon. I have a phone call with somebody in about 9 minutes. How do you live with no proof of income? Asking for a friend. How do you live with no proof of income? I can prove my income. And actually, this is what up, Jet. I have a partnership with a company called Moves, and Moves helps. It's a banking app exclusively for gig workers, and it can help you with employment verification and proof of income. That's one of the many perks within that app. So if you check out a lot of my videos and you look at the description box, there's a little Moves link. If you want to email me, check out my About page. You can email me and I can send you some information. That's one way to do it. That's how I didn't use it when I needed it. I was able to prove it through bank statements and things like that, tax returns. But the Moves app allows, most gig worker, any gig worker that has the app that banks with them, to provide employment verification and proof of income, which is a really good feature. I'm glad you asked that, because it's, I need to download that app ASAP. Yeah, check it out. Listen, I appreciate y'all very much. If you got any kind of value from this live stream talking about fatherhood, parenthood as a gig worker, hit the thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, share this content out. I thought this was a really good conversation. We didn't solve any of the world's problems. Okay, I'm not the best dad, trust me, all right? But I'm a gig worker and I am a father. And I am somebody that stays pretty busy and has to juggle a lot of balls in the air, the same way UDM does. That's why I asked him to come on. So whenever you think, everything seems really hard and think, it's a lot and I got to make money and I'm a dad and I'm not seeing my kid, you got to stop and reflect. Think about those moments and think about, what did you do during that day? How was my week? Why did I feel like last week I didn't have good balance? Look back at your week. What did you do? How did you manage your time? Reflect on that. Okay? And then make some adjustments and take it to the next week. And then after that week's done, reflect back. What did I do that was good? Did I improve anything? Did I not? Have conversations with your kids if they're old enough. What do they need? Some kids don't require as much as others. Some kids might not need you to be around every single day, every single whatever. They don't need you to cook every meal. They don't need you to tuck them in. You might want to do those things, but some kids might just want something else. They might, hey, Poppy, you know what? I would love for us to have breakfast every Saturday morning. Don't be afraid to have those conversations. You guys are absolutely amazing. I'll see you guys next week, and I'll see you in tonight's video. Peace.